John and Peter are away, so Mikey and I are going to play another not so political update.
Just the title. I get tricked into this every time.
Trump's Truth Social. Oh, go ahead, Mikey. You read it.
No, you go.
Trump's Truth Social struggled to hire tech workers because it wanted right-wing staffers and nobody wanted to take the jobs. What's going on?
Crazy.
What's going on, Mikey? Nobody wants to work at Truth Social?
It makes me wonder why the tech industry is so liberal leaning. I mean, it seems kind of obvious that they are. And I don't find it's not surprising that they couldn't find any right-wing staffers. And right-wing, like in my mind, right-wing is like dudes with swastikas on the street corner, like stomping around. It's like, but right-wing in your mind is like voted for Trump, which is like way apart. But that's fine. That's fine. But it's not surprising that the tech industry is not full of right-wingers.
Why do you say that?
That is not full of right-wingers?
Or why it's surprising?
Well, I think actually I think there probably are people who are more on the conservative side of the aisle in tech, but they're probably pretty quiet because they're scared of getting fired or getting ridiculed in some way or blackballed, however you want to say it. So they're probably pretty quiet and they don't say a whole lot when they're at work.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I would look at, especially like at the corporate level, they're certainly conservative financially, right? They don't want to pay taxes. So they, I think, put a lot of money behind that. They are fully on board with, and privacy is probably a totally nonpartisan issue. I think of like the attacks on the Section 230 as being primarily a conservative angle, which is aligned with what the tech industry would do, I believe. But maybe not. I mean, the anti-encryption stuff, a lot of the tech companies are for encryption. The anti-tracking stuff is probably driven a little bit more by, well, I don't know. Who do you think drives the anti-tracking stuff? Like I'm on the surface, I would say liberals, but maybe that's a bipartisan thing too. Privacy.
I think the anti-tracking, like a pro-privacy, is almost solely driven by Apple's marketing. Like Apple probably does. I'm serious. Like Apple does probably so much tracking, like just as much as anyone else. I imagine this is obviously, I don't know. I don't work there. So, nor could I say if I did work there, but my guess is they know just as much about you as Facebook does, probably more. But they are promoting in their marketing message that privacy is key, and maybe that just means they're not sharing the data they have about you with other companies. But they're so large and they're controlling so much of your life. If you have an iPhone or an iPad or a Mac or whatever, they don't need to share that data because they are tracking you to death, but within their confined garden, and you're safe in here. It's totally fine.
Yeah, I just a quick search found that Apple for the quarter spent a record high $2.5 million on lobbying. I'm not immediately finding who they gave that money to, though. So definitely involved. No easy quick answer on whether they're going more towards.
You don't have an army of lobbyists if you're not doing something illicit.
Is that? I mean,
and by
I don't
the way,
know. I don't think there's
Apple,
anything.
I would be a great lobbyist, by the way.
I don't think there's anything illicit about lobbying for lower taxes. They do that right out in the open.
Well, I mean, everybody needs lower taxes. But anyway, getting back to this story, Trump and Truth Social. I haven't even used Truth Social, but they struggled when the app launched. I remember people were making fun of it for being based on Mastodon, which is an open source like social network platform, and they didn't attribute it properly and all this stuff. And it's not surprising that Trump and his minions were trying to rip off some free software and slap their name on it. Like, it's not surprising. I also think that strictly recruiting what the article calls right wingers is probably illegal. Like, you can't ask people's political leanings or research their social media postings before they get hired. Like, that's definitely illegal.
I was going to ask you about that. Should it be? If I want to hire right wingers, is that that's my prerogative, isn't it?
I don't think you should try to hire right wingers or left.
I mean, I agree. Oh wait,
or whatever color wingers you want. You should hire the best people for the job, and if they turn out to be political opponents to Trump or whatever, like, you can surface that, and it may not even matter. They may just want to build great code and do a great job.
Yeah,
and or they could want to go in there and sabotage. Like, Trump is such a polarizing figure that I'm sure left-leaning tech gurus would be like, yeah, I'll code your whole thing, and they got like a time bomb in it. It's like, kaboom! Sorry about that.
Yeah, and I like. So my thought is that there are conservatives in tech. I happen to know one who may or may not be on the show right now. So they're out there, right? Where's
that mother?
It seemed like the problem they ran into is trying to get people to like take an loyalty oath, and people. Then that's when people were like, "Oh, I don't know about that." That's not literally what they were doing, but like a lot, I
mean, it's not far away. Like, what a terrible strategy.
Yeah. I do think it's fair to say that there aren't as many conservatives in tech. I think probably like you, I'm a little surprised there aren't more. I don't know what to attribute that to, but I mean, the issue might just be that nobody wants to work at Truth Social, not that conservatives don't want to work there.
Accurate.
We can't hire conservatives because we have 0 applicants who are interested in working here.
Yeah, I mean, it's very close to discrimination in their hiring practices. I don't know if it's illegal. Like, how does political ideology fall on the discrimination scale? Is that illegal for hiring practices? But I'm sure it's very close to something.
Well, just
that's
what
they should do. That's what they should do. Is they should, I don't know, whatever they do to ex-presidents to, I guess, to just be a criminal thing. They could just get him for hiring practice violations.
Right.
They could probably get rid of True Social in 2 weeks or whatever. Start suing the crap out of him.
Just throw Devin Nunes under the bus. Be like, he's the worst CEO. I barely know the guy. He's the worst CEO I've ever met.
Devin Nunes is the CEO of True Social. Oh my
I'm pretty sure, right? Nunes. That's why he left Congress, right? We'll just Google it live. This is what our audience. Yeah, Devin Nunes, CEO of Truth Social. He left Congress to go be CEO. So the word will be like, Nunes, never heard of him. He's terrible. I never liked that guy.
This article, Business Insider says 3 people familiar with tech media and technology groups recruitment efforts. Like, who the hell are these 3 people? If you can't name the people in the article, you can't use that kind of terminology. I see this all over the place. It's terrible. So
no articles.
People familiar with the matter.
Yeah, there'd be no articles otherwise. All right. Good show, Mikey.
Bye, Trump.